The storm came without warning. One moment, the sky was clear and gold with the afternoon sun, and the next, it turned a violent grey that swallowed the sea whole. Waves rose like angry beasts, slamming into the small ferry that had been carrying tourists back to the mainland. I remember the sound, metal shrieking, people screaming, luggage flying, and then nothing but water, darkness, and silence. When I opened my eyes, coughing out salt water, I was lying on a stretch of wet sand, alone, staring at a line of palm trees that looked like silent guardians of an uncharted island. If you believe in second chances, in kindness that finds you even when the world turns, it's back then. Take a second to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Journal. Stories like this remind us that even in our darkest storms, love can wash ashore when we least expect it. My name is Evan Cross, a 33-year-old architect from Seattle. I'd been on that ferry because I wanted to escape everything: my crumbling career, my divorce, and the haunting emptiness of my apartment. I thought a short trip would help me reset. I didn't know the universe had other plans. The first night on that island was pure survival. I built a small fire using driftwood and my torn shirt as tinder. My hands bled from trying to spark flame with stones, and the air smelled of salt and fear. When I finally had a flicker of firelight, I saw movement in the distance. My heart froze. For a moment, I thought it was another survivor. Then I heard a faint voice call out, hoarse and trembling, "Please help me." I stumbled toward the sound, and there she was, a woman, maybe in her late 20s, soaked to the bone, her face pale under the moonlight. She had a deep gash on her arm and eyes that flickered between terror and disbelief. "I'm Mia," she whispered, shivering as I helped her sit by the fire. I wrapped her in my jacket, my only possession that had survived the wreck. Mia told me she was a marine biologist traveling to the mainland after a week studying coral reefs. Her voice cracked as she described watching the ferry split apart, people vanishing into the storm. "We were both lucky," she said, "or unlucky, depending on how you saw it. Days passed. We scavenged what we could, half-broken containers from the wreck, a single first aid kit, a few sealed snacks, and bottles of water. But it wasn't enough. The heat during the day was merciless, and at night the wind howled through the trees like lost souls. We built a shelter using palm leaves and branches, though the first version collapsed when rain hit. Mia laughed bitterly then, sitting under the downpour, her dark hair clinging to her face. "You'd think two educated people could build a roof," she said, and somehow in that moment we laughed together. There was something about her strength hidden beneath gentleness. She could name every fish that swam by the shore, yet cried quietly when she saw a bird tangled in fishing net. I helped her free it, and as it flew away, she smiled for the first time. That smile became my reason to wake up each morning. We learned the rhythm of the island. The tide brought new things each day, sometimes useful, sometimes cruel reminders of the world we'd lost. Once, we found a child's shoe. Another time, a cracked cell phone that still had photos of a family on its screen. It broke Mia's heart. "Do you think they made it?" she asked softly. I wanted to lie, to tell her yes, but I couldn't. "I don't know," I said, and she nodded, wiping her tears. Weeks blurred into months. We marked days on a rock with sharp shells. Food became harder to find. We set traps for crabs, learned how to gather rainwater, and rationed everything. I watched Mia grow thinner, yet somehow stronger. She'd wake before sunrise, her hair tied back, studying the shoreline as if it held secrets that might save us. I tried to build a raft, but every attempt failed. Each time I fell into the sea, exhausted, she was there pulling me out, her hands trembling, her voice breaking as she scolded me for risking my life. But one day changed everything. I woke up to the smell of smoke, not from our fire, but from the woods beyond the shore. The island was burning. Maybe lightning, maybe something else, but it didn't matter. The wind carried flames fast. We ran, gathering what little we had. At the edge of the island, where the cliffs dropped into the sea, I looked down and saw our last chance, a half-broken lifeboat wedged between rocks. We scrambled down, our hands scraped and bloody. The smoke made it hard to breathe. "Get in!" I shouted, pushing the boat free. But before I could climb in, a branch fell, striking my shoulder. I fell hard, pain shooting through me. I saw Mia's face through the smoke, eyes wide with fear. "Evan!" she screamed, rushing back. She pulled me up with all her strength, tears streaming down her face as she dragged me into the boat. The current took us before we even had time to think. Hours later, we floated in silence under the open sky. The fire was gone, the island now a black silhouette behind us. I could feel my body weakening. The salt water burned every wound. Mia looked at me and whispered, "Don't you dare close your eyes." I tried to smile. "You're bossy, you know that." Her lips trembled. "I can't lose you too," she said. "You saved me, remember?" But it was her who saved me every single day. By dawn, we washed up on another island, smaller, quieter, with no sign of life. We were too weak to move at first. She rested her head on my chest, breathing slowly. For a long time, neither of us spoke. The sound of waves was the only heartbeat left in the world. Then she said it. Her voice was soft but clear, and it hit me harder than any storm. "I'm just a woman, Evan, and you're what I want." For a moment, I thought I'd imagined it. But when I looked at her, tears filled her eyes. She wasn't talking about survival anymore. She was talking about something deeper, something that had grown between us quietly, in the space between fear and hope. I wanted to speak, to tell her I felt the same, but my throat tightened. All I could do was reach for her hand. It fit perfectly in mine, as if the sea itself had brought us together for a reason. The next days were different. The silence between us wasn't empty anymore, it was full of unspoken care. When she smiled, the world felt alive again. When she laughed, the sky seemed brighter. She began calling me Mr. Architect, teasing me as we rebuilt another shelter. And when I found wild fruit high in the trees, I risked every branch just to see her grin when I handed it to her. We started believing in miracles again. We wrote messages on wood, hoping they'd drift to the world beyond the waves. Sometimes at night, we'd sit by the fire, watching stars that looked close enough to touch. "Do you ever think," Mia asked one night, "that maybe this was supposed to happen? That we had to lose everything to find something real?" I didn't know what to say, but as I looked at her face illuminated by firelight, I knew she was right. 2 weeks later, we heard a distant rumble that didn't belong to nature. Mia jumped up, eyes wide. "A plane!" she shouted. I couldn't believe it. We ran to the beach, waving torches, screaming until our throats bled. The plane circled once, then again, and then miraculously, it tilted its wings, signaling that it had seen us. Rescue came the next morning. They found us dehydrated but alive. When the helicopter lifted us off the island, Mia gripped my hand, refusing to let go. I watched the island shrink below us, that tiny patch of earth where life had broken us and rebuilt us all at once. In the weeks that followed, the world called us the lucky ones. News crews, reporters, cameras all asking how we survived. But no one could understand that it wasn't just about surviving nature. It was about surviving our own loneliness, our own regrets. Mia and I stayed close after that. We tried to return to normal life, but normal never felt the same. I'd catch her staring out at the sea sometimes, lost in thought. One evening, I found her sitting by the shore near her apartment, the sunset painting her face gold. "You still think about it, don't you?" I asked. She smiled faintly. "Every day," she said. "That island took everything, but it gave me something I never thought I deserved." I sat beside her, silent. Then she turned to me, her eyes reflecting the dying light. "You," she whispered. That was the moment I realized the storm hadn't destroyed my life, it had rewritten it. Sometimes the sea doesn't just take. It returns what we truly need. If this story touched your heart, if you believe that love can be found even in the wreckage of life, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to Kindness Journal. Your support helps us keep telling stories that remind the world what it means to feel alive. Before you go, tell us in the comments, have you ever faced a storm that changed your life forever? Because sometimes the storms we fear the most lead us exactly where we're meant to be.